Hey guys, this is Goldy again, and in this video I'll talk about a use case that I recently heard of. And the use case is that a G Suite admin wants to give users the permission so that they can create groups as their own, like a self-service to create groups in G Suite. Now I understand I'm not talking about the Google Groups for Business that users can obviously create by themselves if you allow them. I'm talking about the G Suite admin managed groups that you go to G Suite admin console and create. So there is a use case that I've heard of, and I guess there might be other use cases too, like you would like to give kind of self-service to your employees who just joined so that they can fill up some information and then their user account will be created by itself, or maybe their nickname, they can create their own nicknames by themselves by just filling out some information. So I'll take that use case today and I'll show you in a video how you can achieve that specific use case, just in case if you have that kind of similar use case at your organization. So let me share my screen and tell you what we will be doing here. So nothing fancy. We will map everything within G Suite and we will make it kind of scrappy without investing much time and energy here. So what I have here is I've created a Google form. So let me just go to my Google Drive quickly. Let me just plug in my power cable. Yeah. So I have this quick little form here and it says group creation form, and I've tested it and it works fine. And here I'm asking for a couple of pieces of information such as the group name, which is required to create groups in G Suite, along with description, which is optional, and then group email address. So what we will be doing is, I've made it public so that anyone can create groups in my G Suite admin console, which might be crazy, but I just wanted to open it up as a proof of concept. But in your case, ideally you should be just clicking on first thing, collect email address, so you know who requested that information or that task. And then you should also restrict it so that only people in your organization can request to create groups or their user accounts or their aliases for their user accounts. And then you can also limit to one response. Okay, so now I have my form ready. Second thing that I did is I have this Google site. So maybe if I just go to incognito window, I have this Google site that I've mapped to ghealth.id.goldyarora.com, and if I go to this page, which is object creation, you will see that I have some details here, and it has a group creation form along with some description that might help you. So here, if you just put the information and click on submit, the script will run behind the scenes and will go ahead and create the group, and you should be able to see the details of your group right here. Okay, so behind the scenes what I'm doing is I have this like a quick script, and what it does is it just listens to the form fill up, and as soon as the form is filled up, the sheet will pick up the values. For example, it will pick up the group name, description, and group email address, and then it will go ahead and call admin directory, create the group, and after doing everything, it will just post the status or write the status saying group created successfully, if we have been able to create it successfully, right here, so that the next time when somebody else fills up the form, we should not process the one which is already created. Now let's quickly also discuss the permissions, because when people who are going to fill up this form, they will not need admin rights. They just need to be users in your organization and they can fill up the form. However, to run this script, you will need the G Suite administration permissions. Now, you don't have to be super admin till the time you have user creation delegated permissions for this account. That should be fine. So again, you have two scenarios or two options here. Either you can just write the script the way I want, and it authenticates by itself based on the email address of the user that is going to run the script. Or if you need some more granularity, you can also use OAuth library. There is one for AppScript, and then you can use a service account which will impersonate any of your uh, admin, and then it can run the script on your behalf. So that can be another option. Okay, now there might be scenarios where, let's say if somebody is filling up the group email address and that group is already existing in our admin console. So for that, maybe, you can have a couple of more fields here, and you can say group email address, let's say first preference, and then group email address second preference, and ask them to provide you that information so that you will loop through just to check if that group email address already exists, then loop through the second one and third one and so on. You can also put more conditional checks here. So for example, you can say put your employee ID or maybe a password or string, whatever. And then you can map it maybe to a specific set of users. So let's say if you want to say only people in HR should be able to create groups or users or aliases via this form, then maybe you can collect their email address and then compare that email address with an array of, let's say, all the email addresses of those HR people. And if that form fill up email address matches any email address in that array, then you can process the request, otherwise not. So I hope it helps. And then in terms of automation, if I go to triggers here, what I'm saying is that this request should run as soon as someone fills up the form. So I'm saying create groups. That's the AppScript function that I have. That function should run from spreadsheet on form submit, which means every time when somebody submits a form, this script will be running automatically. Okay, so now let me show you how it works. We will just take a random string here. So let's say random string, and let's find something random. Let's say get some strings. Maybe let's take this first one. Okay, and I will go to my G Suite admin console and I will search with this information just to see if any user or group or alias exists, and there is none. So we will take that one and create our group. So now I will go to my site where I see this form, and I'll say group name, maybe something, group description, I'll just leave it blank, and I will take this as the string as the email address, and I'll put my domain name. Now you can obviously have some more checks and balances here. You can just let them put the username of that group, or and then you can append the domain in your script in case maybe if you have multiple domains. And then I will click on submit, and you will see the information will be displayed here along with the status. And this is the import range sheet, which is coming from my script source. So if I click on submit, now Google, it says we will look at your request and let you know once we create your group. You can have one more function running in which will inform the user who submitted the form request once you create their group, or once your script creates their group. Okay, if it's a static one, so I will need to just do a quick refresh, and ideally you will see that information and that group has been created successfully. I have not logged in here because I've made it public, but in your case somebody will need to log into this Google site and to see this form. Okay, now if I go to my G Suite admin console, I will search for that again, and as you see, we have just created this this group with the details that I just mentioned. So not like a frequent use case which all of you might have, but just in case if you have something like that, hope it might help. So with that, thank you so much. If you have any questions or feedback, do not hesitate to put that under this video and I'll be happy to help. Thank you so much.